still on our trip to Austin.
Hey, I'm Sadie, and this lovely person at Stevie's my girlfriend Melody. I had gone by a different name, but have since changed it. If you're watching this, then as you already know, we've been in quarantine for over a month. The footage you're watching is when I was taking my girlfriend back home to Texas. Little did we know, a few weeks later, the state border would be shut down.
Wait, ready? Set. Are you gonna pass? No! Let's go!
I don't really see coronavirus as something scary for myself. I think the scary part for us is that my dad is in bad health and he's the one who has to go out.
I get up every morning about 4 o'clock to get ready to go to town to go to dialysis. I go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have to stay on the machine 4 hours and 15 minutes to clean my blood and get the toxins out of my blood, get the fluid off of me and get the toxins out of my blood.
Dad has been going to dialysis for so long now that part is kind of normal. Now we don't really think about it anymore, but with Corona right now, it's dangerous, so it's different now. It's scary.
This is what they call a buttonhole. You stick in the same place every time you go to dialysis. Bye, girls. Love y'all.
My grandma is probably one of the strongest people that I've ever met in my entire life. She's gone through so much in her life, and I'm surprised that she actually is doing as well as she's doing right now. When I was a baby, my mother, which was her daughter, passed away from a drug overdose, and I ended up having to live with her, and she raised me all by herself. Because of this, I feel like we were so much closer, and I would honestly consider her to be my best friend. We currently live in Shreveport, Louisiana. The coronavirus cases here are much higher than they should be. So this has made me a lot more worried and anxious than I was a few weeks ago. I'm trying to take as many precautions as possible to prevent her from getting sick and to prevent myself from getting sick. Our whole family's trying our best to you know, keep her as healthy as possible and keep ourselves as healthy as possible. And right now all we can do is kind of hope and pray that none of us get sick.
On March 21st, I met my niece Evelyn for the first time. This picture was taken just days before the lockdown began at my sister's home in Alexandria. I decided to call her up and see how she and my brother-in-law Anthony are keeping safe during the pandemic.
So whenever she was born, we were only allowed to have one person at the hospital, no, 2 people at the hospital per 24 hours. Anthony, my husband, was one of them. They counted him as one of the people, so we were only able to have one other person in, to come visit us for the whole day. We've been staying inside as much as possible, and the only reason we've gotten out for anything is just to bring her to the doctor for her checkups and to get groceries. And Anthony just went back to work the day before yesterday, so that's been difficult, but he works in healthcare, so he's very needed right now, so it's understandable.
The world is in a state of crisis. During this pandemic, maintaining relationships is more important than ever. Many people are going through this by themselves, and that's why I'm thankful to have Logan.
My name is Logan Hicks. I'm Savannah's boyfriend. I don't like that you have to leave, especially like when I get to see you like once every 2 weeks, once a month. So it's like it's hard on me. When I come home, I'm so used to seeing you, and then like now, you know, and like, okay, well, you gotta leave the same time I do for work. I'm gonna come home to nobody. So, I mean, it sucked. I hate it. But any person likes to live alone, and I feel like the time that you went back to school, you know, like we both kind of got like, not a break from each other, but just like a break, you know, just, you know, and moving back in, I think it was good. I think it was a great idea, you know.
My dad has been sick basically my entire life. I've been in and out of hospitals. This whole situation is kind of normal for me, to see my dad wear a mask or stick himself with a needle. But now the situation is even more scary just because we know that if he was to contract this virus, he probably wouldn't make it.
If you were to get COVID-19, what do you think would happen?
Well, I would hope that I could pull through it, but with my immune system being low, with me with kidney failure and everything, it would be a real hard battle.
Bye, baby. Love you.
Bye, love you too.
Working in healthcare is very, very cautious, to say the least. And then even all the local hospitals have been taking every steps and measures to make sure to limit the spread and contain everything they can. And we don our PPE, and like every day it's always a new set, but every day we try to treat it like as if it, you know, a very serious matter, because we don't want to bring it home back to our families, but we want to take care of our patients. So that's the number one thing. Because it's very important on both aspects that everyone try to flatten the curve.
I hear you. Can you say what you do and how all of this has changed? What specifically you do?
I'm a medical laboratory scientist, and my specialty is microbiology. So we're the behind-the-scenes people that run the tests to test for things like COVID and other respiratory viruses. And then right now it's very strict access, very limited amount of workers, and during this pandemic, but it's everyone's following the guidelines and just following the rules and trying our best to take care of patients, but also take care of each other.
When I was 10 in the early 50s, we had the polio epidemic. I don't think it was a pandemic, but people were getting polio and it was paralyzing them. And they were in an iron lung. I don't even think they have the iron lungs anymore, but they were put in an iron lung to breathe for them. And then they got the shot.
With the first distribution to health authorities of enough polio vaccine to inject 200,000 children, a vital phase has been reached in the campaign against poliomyelitis. Just a small prick from a needle, a small price to pay for the immunity which this vaccine can provide, for the promise of a future unclouded by the dreadful effect of paralysis.
I can't remember people, I'm sure they did, die from polio, but it wasn't anything like this going around. I'm worried about the coronavirus because it affects the lungs, and I have lung problems and heart problems, and my older son has some lung problems, and I'm worried about him.
How important do you think a relationship during this pandemic and everything like this, how important is a relationship right now?
I think it's important. I really do, because like people like me, being quarantined right now, like I'm going mad. Like I love skateboarding, I love doing all this other stuff, and I can't go do that because I need to stay inside to protect you and also protect my friends and my family and everything. So I feel like it's important. I think it's good to have you here to keep my head level.
This is a photo of me and Savannah at my video premiere. My first skateboarding film.
I don't know. I've been like distracting myself, doing stuff like working out and stuff like that, but it's not working. So it's good to have you here because I can talk to somebody, not talk to myself.
Before the virus, everything was going well. All of my classes were running smoothly, and my personal life was extremely well. I had recently decided to come out as trans. I wrote an article about it for my school's newspaper, and I was working on a documentary about it. At the time, people were asking me how I was doing and if I was prepared for the outcome. To be honest, I didn't think much of it. I knew at the time that this virus would overtake the news and everyone's lives. I knew my coming out wouldn't have caught any attention. At this moment, people should be taking care of themselves. That's the important thing. Am I bummed that people won't see my doc or read my article? Yes, but so what? I've got other problems. Everyone has other problems. The story people should follow isn't about a girl coming out. It's about how the world will survive an epidemic.